Shubham Antwal, and I have just started with this new page, which is The Conversation. So, my talk show will be a melting pot of different domains, and then we will discuss that what is the current thing that is going on in their field and how a person can change a career at whatever age he or she might be in. And then it is basically a platform wherein you can have uh, people of different domains discussing their perception of their jobs. So basically, I think this step that I have taken, it will help all the youngsters who are still in their mid 20s or early 20s, or who are still starting up their new careers, and they have this thing because if we talk about our age, so in this generation also there are people who are doing 9 to 5 jobs, or they have their own businesses, or they have their own startups, but then still there is a thing in their mind that whatever they are doing, whether it is right or wrong, or whether that is, I mean, whatever they are doing right now is the right thing, or will they ever be successful in that particular domain or not. So without any much ado, I'll introduce my first guest. Her name is Palak Sangal, and she is the founder of Eat Clean Stay Lean Nutrition Consultancy. So she believes that basically she's a maverick. What I will say, that she's a maverick. She believes that all these things called fancy diets or keto diets, or sauna belts, if you talk about, or detox tea. So she's here to break all those myths. Okay, so I'll quickly introduce you to her, but before that I'll just give you some more information about her, and also about this session, that this will be probably an hour session, and you will be able to ask questions once we have discussed, I mean, she has completed what she has to say, what she has to discuss with us, and then we can move on to the questionnaire, right? Let's begin this session, and I will introduce you to Palak. So just give me a moment.
Hi Palak,
Hi
what's up? How
Shubham,
are
how
you?
are you?
How have you been? All
I'm
good,
doing
all good.
good. Yeah,
All good, all good. Am I audible to you?
yeah. Am I audible?
Yeah, fair enough. So I think I have introduced you, but I will also give you a chance to introduce yourself, and then we'll take on this session further.
Okay. So hello everyone. I'm Palak. I'm the founder of Eat Clean Stay Lean Nutrition Consultancy, wherein we offer a balanced diet, and we really do not believe in any fad diet, fancy diet, or any trending diet. People generally do not understand what exactly diet is. There are a lot of misconceptions and a lot of information floating online, be it YouTubers, through fitness coaches, through gym trainers, or your paros wali aunties. You all must have heard
Correct.
it कम हो जाएगा. I think ये तो सबने सुना ही होगा, right? जबकि ऐसा कुछ होता नहीं है. These are all myths, all myths. So that is what we are here for. We'll be debunking some of the common or most heard myths together. So let's start the session.
Yeah, sure. So Palak, as I was telling, like everybody is surrounded by COVID these days. So I just pray for everyone's good health. But in this COVID, I have found that immunity boosters have, just taken a boost, if I may say so. So like we have these I don't know whether it's a misconception or not, but generally vitamin C or zinc or citric acid or taking lemons in your diet, I think these things were already a part of a regime, but suddenly these have taken a jump. So what do you want to say about immunity booster? Is it right to take it in a specified amount, or just like following the trends and just following whatever is coming on WhatsApp or internet is available? We are just consuming everything that is available in our homes. So whether it is right to consume those amount of immunity boosters or not?
So we'll talk about whether it's good to consume immunity boosters or not. First, let's understand what exactly do we mean by immunity and what are immunity boosters. Do we really
Yeah,
need
correct.
immunity? The entire term, this term immunity booster or immunity boosting itself is a very flawed concept. Can you really boost your immunity? Like, you have a proper immune system in your body. Like
Yeah.
you yourself are from bio background, you understand what exactly immune system is, how it works. So can you really boost your immunity? So boosting immunity would be would do more harm than help. Like boosting immunity could lead you to autoimmune condition. You do not want a boosted immunity. You want a balanced immunity, right? And these days, we see a lot of advertisements, be it on Instagram, Facebook, whatever social media, YouTube. We see a lot of packaged supplements that say they are immunity boosters. They might have doses of curcumin, that is a compound in turmeric, or they might have something like greens for immunity boosting, or many other compounds. We see a lot of
I have
tablets
also seen that lot in market. Yeah.
We see a lot of tablets that claim that they boost immunity. I don't believe, and there has been no research yet that says that something external can boost your immunity. You have an immune system in place that is solely responsible for your immunity. Unless you are immune compromised, you have certain autoimmune disorders or a compromised immunity. Until then, let your immune system do your work. So I have seen a trend wherein people these days are consuming a lot of concoctions or kadhas every day.
Correct. And I'll tell you this, even in my family, like when a lot of in my family members, a lot of people had COVID. So they were just like blindly following those kadha recipes and trying everything possible that was available on the WhatsApp or the internet. So being a a person from a bio background, I suggested that, I mean, do you really know what the ingredients are and what is their effect on your health? So yeah,
exactly.
Continue, yeah.
Exactly. So even many of my clients came to me that my mom is giving me so and so kadha. Should I consume it? Will it really help me? And moreover, people, associate this with weight loss. क्या इससे मेरा weight भी कम हो जाएगा? ये काढ़ा पी लूंगी, like one thing serving two purposes. क्या इससे मेरी immunity भी बढ़ जाएगी और weight भी कम हो जाएगा? So I don't think where these things are coming from. People are blindly following WhatsApp University, which is not correct actually, because these things, they are Ayurvedic medicines, if
Correct.
not more, but they are Ayurvedic medicines, and they should be consumed in limited portions. Like, let me give you an example. I recently had a client who saw some message on WhatsApp University, and she had 2 shots of amla in the morning. And I asked her, and she had severe diarrhea, like constant loose motions throughout the day. I asked her,
that's bad.
How much amla did you add to that, shot? She told me, I had 2 amlas. I thought, ek se to kya hi hoga, maine 2 add kar liye. 1 amla has enough vitamin C for you to serve for 6 days. It has 6 times the vitamin C you need in 1 day. Yes. And she took 2 amlas.
That's something new for me. Yeah.
Vitamin C. That is why you really do not need vitamin C tablets or other supplements. You have, I think everyone in India, especially in Indian foods and Indian kitchens, we are eating enough vitamin C to not need it in supplement form. We are consuming vitamin C in the form of fruits, and not many people know that we are consuming in the form of vegetables as well. Capsicum,
yes.
potato
Contains
has
vitamin C. Yeah.
Broccoli has enough vitamin C. 1 serving of broccoli has enough vitamin C for you to go in a day, right? Also, this vitamin C is a water-soluble vitamin. This is not stored in your body. Your body, it gets out in the form of sweat or urine or any sort of waste. So it does not get stored in your body. So I don't think there is a need to take supplements for these things. Coming back to the immune boosting, as we said, immune boosting supplements, there is nothing that can boost your immunity. You need a balanced diet, a good sleep, a stress-free life to have a good immune boosting. That is all. And also, we should really ask questions. Why do we think, okay, this must be coming from somewhere. Why do we think that ginger or tulsi or turmeric has some immune properties? How will they help with immunity? They're actually anti-inflammatory, or they must have some antioxidants. That is all they can do.
Correct.
Nothing can boost your immunity.
Okay, Palak. So as you were talking about fats, like you just discussed about healthy lifestyle and weight loss. So there is also a new trend that I have been seeing these days: low fat and no fat. So I don't know what exactly is the difference between. So could you please enlighten us with that also?
So I'll tell you a very interesting incident. So what happened some days back was, there was this client. She was on a weight loss diet. She sent me
Okay.
her weekly tracker wherein we track what she ate throughout the week and what were her metrics. How much did she lose? How many inches went down, and all these things. So her weight didn't really go down, although she was following the diet. And I was really like wondering how was that possible. The diet was made according to her calorie intake, her calorie requirement, yet she wasn't losing. I wasn't very convinced. I asked her, even though I had her food diary in my hand, I asked her, tell me orally, what did you eat? She told me had her breakfast, she had her lunch, dinner.
So
But
I think
apart
there's
from
some
that,
yeah.
I asked her to recall properly. Tell me what exactly you ate. She told me, yeah. One day I had 2 low-fat biscuits. So I said, oh, you didn't mention that in the diary? She said, but I thought usse to kya hi fark padega? They were zero fat. They had no fat. And I said, did you read the labels? She said no, but it had mentioned that the biscuits are low fat. So people are blindly following trends. They are blindly following marketing gimmicks. So biscuits or there are many snacks like namkeens, chips and other snacks that claim that they're completely healthy. They have no fat, and low fat apparently is very much in
Yeah.
trend. So actually what the companies are doing is they're marketing their products as low
Yeah, it's a
fat or no
marketing
fat.
strategy basically. Yeah.
Yeah. But again, we really need to read labels, because the labels, when you read the label of a low fat or no fat product, you will see that they have extra sugars, extra sodium, extra salt, extra, what do we say? Different form of sugar,
Basically,
extra
they are
starch,
adding
extra,
supplements rather than having the natural
not
source. They are
exactly
adding
supplements,
supplements in
but
that.
they're adding a lot of sugar and salt to
Sugars,
make
yeah.
up for the bad taste. Because if you remove fat completely, the taste will be very bad. So to cover up that taste, they're adding a lot of salt and sugar. So in a way, if you see a
Additives
product that is,
basically, yeah.
yeah, if you see a product that is low fat or no fat, that will have more calories than a regular biscuit. So if you
Oh,
eat one Parle-G, that will be lower in calories than a no-fat biscuit. This is what most people do not understand.
that's why we have you to clear those myths.
I'm
So,
glad to keep the clearing.
yeah. So, my mother, she's a diabetic. So, she was, we were having a discussion on this that, she has, I mean, when she was tested, diabetic, when she saw that her glucose level or the insulin level is dropping or increasing, so she has, decreased her intake of fruits. And when I asked her why is she doing that, so she said that she read somewhere, or there was a WhatsApp forward which said that fruits like apples or oranges or guava or many other fruits, they have a high level of glucose or fructose in them. So she has reduced that. So how can somebody, if a person is diabetic, how can somebody still take in fruits which are sweet but still, maintain that glucose level?
Okay, so there is a difference. There are different sugar that is present in fruits, and there is a different sugar that is present in most of the desserts. This fruit sugar, the natural sugar, does not raise your insulin because it has a lot of fiber, first of all. Secondly, the
Yeah.
glycemic index is high. So it won't really affect your blood sugar if had in controlled portions. So if she wants to have a mango, having like 50 grams or 100 grams, one big slice of mango is good for her. This won't really increase her blood sugar. Also, if a diabetic person wants to consume fruits, they can have more, fibrous fruits. Apart from that, add a little fat to your fruits, like have your fruit with some nuts and seeds. This will lead to slow release of the sugar. But to
Okay.
be very
Okay.
honest, blood sugar is not increased by sugar in fruits. I have seen a lot of people
Okay.
who would say no to fruits but consume a low sugar biscuit, the
Yeah.
oats
Wait.
biscuit.
Wait. That's it. Great.
So that is not true.
So
Fruits, the sugar in fruits is not bad. It doesn't raise your insulin as much as sugar in any other dessert or biscuit or cookie or bread.
So meanwhile, there is a question that has popped up. So this is Mohit, and he's asking that what is the difference between your dairy milk and almond milk, and which is more healthy?
Okay. So you cannot really compare the two because again, health is a very subjective question. What might be healthy for me might not be healthy for you, right? So
Yeah.
dairy is a milk that is coming from animal source, whereas almond milk, as obvious, is coming from plant source. Dairy, a lot of people are confused if dairy is really healthy for us. Dairy is not bad until you are lactose intolerant. Like if you
Correct.
cannot really digest milk, it won't do any harm to you. Many people claim that it has more fat, it has a lot of things, hormones, but I don't think they can interfere with you. Also, dairy is a rich source of calcium and protein for most of the vegetarians. Almond milk is not bad, it's good, but again, the amount
But
of
everybody
calcium is
can't,
not.
can't afford those much almonds to take out 1 cup
Yeah,
of milk. Yeah.
so not many almonds go in a cup of milk. There are hardly 8
Yeah.
to 10 almonds in a cup of milk. But again, it's not feasible for everyone to buy almond milk in India. It's not feasible to, produce almond milk at home every day in India. And dairy is a very accessible, easy, affordable source and also very nutritious. You should not go off dairy if you do not have a lactose problem.
Okay. So there is one more question from the viewer, and he's asking that, yeah, what is the role of protein powder in muscle building?
Same as what is the role of protein in muscle
Might
building?
be a gym guy. Yeah. Might be a gym
See,
guy.
okay. So I have a story to tell for this question. A lot of people really focus on protein powders. They think that their diets are not sufficient enough, are not offering them sufficient protein, but that is not true. If you eat a balanced diet, a balanced Indian diet, you can really get a lot of protein even from vegetarian sources, plant-based sources. So
The
relying on
moong
protein
bean
powder,
dal is there, broccoli is there. Yeah, we have a lot of fruits and vegetables.
like you have a lot of milk products. You have nuts, you have seeds, you have dals, legumes, you have chole, rajma, you have tofu, you have soy. Soy is the richest
Soy, yeah.
source of
Soy is the
protein
richest
for
source, yeah.
vegetarian. It has like 52 grams and 100 grams. That is too much. Okay. So a lot of people I've seen these days are relying on protein powder for
Protein
their
powders, yeah.
protein, fulfilling their protein needs. But again, protein powder is a supplement. A supplement should be taken as a supplement and not as a replacement. I repeat, a supplement should be taken as a supplement and not as a replacement. People are drinking protein shake as a meal replacement. That is bad because then you are just focusing on protein. You cannot simply eliminate.
Palak, there is some
You get your
problem with your
energy
connection.
from.
Can you please refresh it?
Uh,
No, it's
sorry,
fine.
sorry, sorry.
It's fine now.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, please continue.
So yeah, so you should be focusing on having a balanced diet. Don't eliminate carbs and fats from your
Basically,
diet. Just
we can
focus.
say that a mix of everything and a balanced diet is the answer, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So I see a lot of advertisements on television and internet, especially the one with Shraddha Kapoor, which says that uh, drink that green tea and it will it will make you slimmer than ever. So is it? I mean, how true is that? Like I have seen a lot of girls, especially following that trend and just going after that trend, bringing lots and lots of green tea in their houses and sometimes not even drinking it. So just clear that myth also.
Hmm. So again, this reminds me of a meme that I read some time back. Green tea won't help you lose weight until you go to the mountains and pluck the leaves yourself. So
Correct.
again, this is the big myth, green tea. But green tea, nothing can help you burn fat alone. You cannot have. See, if it was that easy, 70% of the 70% of our population wouldn't be struggling with it. Most of our population is
Right,
struggling
right.
with weight problem, weight management. Why can't you just sip on green tea and keep eating burgers and fries and keep staying fit. No, it's not
Yeah,
that
take a
easy.
slice of pizza, take a, take a hamburger, and then sip a drink,
Green
sip
tea,
or,
yeah.
green tea.
People actually do this. I
I
know
have
people.
seen,
I've seen
you won't,
people.
yeah, yeah, I have seen this trend in my own friends. You won't believe this, but I have seen this, in my own friends. They do this. They say that, yeah, I'm on a cheat diet. I'm on a cheat diet. I'm, cheat day basically. So they will take pizza and burgers and a lot of those shit. And then the other day, they will take a big glass of green tea and they say that it will really help.
Nothing can burn fat. So you have to be in a calorie deficit to lose fat. That is the basic fundamental.
And one more myth. Okay, so we have a question pop up. Just give me a quick second. Okay, so there is this girl called Nimisha. She's asking that is it healthy to eat after 7 p.m.?
So your body doesn't really know what calories are coming what time. So a banana, 100 gram of banana will have 96 calories at 12 noon and it will have 96 calories at 12 midnight. The body doesn't really know. It cannot really count. What matters is the calories in entire 24 hours. They add up. But again, you sure can. You cannot stop eating if you're hungry. You cannot starve yourself. But again, it is really healthy to eat your meals at least 2 to 3 hours before going to bed because this helps your digestion. You won't face bloating, indigestion, problems like these. So eat your meals, eat your heaviest meal like your dinner at least 2 to 3 hours before going to bed. But this doesn't stop you from eating after 7 p.m. Let's say you're sleeping at 2 a.m. A lot of people these days are sleeping late, working from home. They don't get tired. How do they sleep?
Right.
So if you're sleeping at 2 a.m., if you have your dinner by 7 p.m., would you starve yourself? Your body would demand food. You would need energy to stay awake. So it's okay to eat unless you're not eating anything at least 2 to 3 hours before bed.
Before sleep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have a burning question that you can say that how healthy is it to sweat out in steam and sauna bath, and how does it really affect in weight loss or glowing of skin or whatever the things that are attached with it? So how healthy would you say that it is?
So I remember when we were young, when we were in school, you would see advertisements on television giving you sauna belts and things like that,
Yeah.
that you could just
Slim sauna
sit.
belt. Yeah, I remember that.
Slim sauna belt, right?
Yeah.
And we would have a lot of other products, a butterfly something, and you would just put it on yourself, sit, relax, and
Do
your
nothing.
fat would go off.
And you will
So
you will lose weight and the tummy will
yeah,
disappear. Yeah.
it just sounds like magic. But again, things like this. See, what happens is when you sit in a very sit under a very high temperature, like in steam baths or sauna rooms, what happens is you lose a lot of water. You sweat out. So
Correct.
when you step up on scale, you would see that you've lost weight. You would be very happy. Wow, एक sauna room में जाते ही I've lost 2 kgs. But But it's very important to understand what have you lost. When you've lost weight.
Sorry to interrupt, but I have seen some influencers doing this. They will, just promote that particular specialty center, and then they will, claim that you can go to that room, you can sit in that room for like 1 hour, 2 hours, or even they have some, specially designed belts with vibrators. You just have to attach them to the belly, and you can lose. Like they claimed actually, I don't remember the name, but they have claimed that you can lose 2 to 3 kg in those 2-3 hours. I don't know how, but I have seen influencers doing that.
It's quite possible. But my question is, when you've lost weight, it's very important to understand why have you lost weight? What have you lost that you've lost weight? So when you lose weight,
Correct.
You can either lose your fat, you can either lose your muscle, or you can lose water. So when you are going to a sauna room, when you are sweating out, it's important to understand, is it possible to lose fat that has accumulated over years in 2 hours? Can you really lose fat in 2 hours? No, you cannot. Can you lose muscle in 2 hours? You cannot. So what you've lost is water. And Mind you,
Correct.
this water that you're very happy about losing, you will regain after one meal that is high in salt. So eat one pizza and your weight will be back by water retention. So this is
So Palak,
just water that you
yeah.
lost.
So Palak, as you were telling about water only, so I just want to know how much water is ideal for a single person to drink in a day. Like, is there any, like, I have seen
That is
3 liters and 4 liters and 5 liters. So there is, yeah, is there any special, like a fixed amount or something? Or it depends upon the
so
body?
there is no particular number that I can tell you. Ki, it's ideal to drink 3 liters in a day. No, it's not. Everyone has their own requirements. Some people sweat a lot. Some people have a very high physical activity throughout the day. Some people
Yeah,
are very less metabolic. They do not sweat out a lot. So water requirements are based on what area do you belong. Is it very cold? Is it very hot? Do you get very thirsty, or do you don't feel thirsty throughout the day, or whether you sweat out a lot, whether you work out, and what kind of food do you eat? Some people really don't feel thirsty because they keep eating fruits throughout the day. Fruits are very hydrating. Watermelon is 95% water.
water,
So
yeah.
many fruits and vegetables are water. All the leafy vegetables are water. So it's very individual. But if I have to say, I would say at least 1 liter of water per 20 kgs of your body weight is ideal. And it should also revolve around your physical activity and your thirst.
Okay. So Palak, one more question I need to know. Uh, which is your, go-to smoothie? Any smoothie recipe that you want to share? Because smoothies are something that I've, found recently through you only, thanks to you for introducing me to the into the world of smoothies. I really love your recipes, guys. If you really want to have some delicious yet nutritious yet very effective smoothies, then I think you should definitely try out her recipes. They are available free of cost on her page, if I may say so. Because for me, it was free. I don't know about you guys, but yeah. So Palak, any simple and easy hack or any simple and easy go-to smoothie recipe that you want to share with us?
So smoothies can be made out of anything, literally out of anything you have in your fridge. There is a very simple, I would say, concept by which you can make smoothies with whatever is available in your food to make them nutritious. I'll tell you later how to make them delicious. Let's talk about how to make them
Make them
nutritious. So
nutritious, yeah.
first, so first step is you should have some fruits or vegetables handy. As in, get some fruits, get some vegetables. Preferably if you have some greens, because uh, most of us do not really like to eat greens, right? So this is
Correct,
one
correct.
easy way how you can add them to your diet without the taste. Okay, so let's say spinach. Spinach is the most easily available green, or maybe coriander. So take some vegetables, like one bowl, 30 to 40 grams of greens. Add a sweet fruit like bananas. Bananas work best in smoothie to give it a very nice thick
Okay.
texture.
Yeah.
So add one banana or two depending on your need, your goals, your fitness goals. You can also add mangoes because mangoes are in season and they are very sweet. So you don't really need to add a sweetener. So you can add one vegetable, one fruit. Along with it, add a source of fat. That can be any nut butter like peanut butter, almond butter. If you do not have peanut butter or almond butter, you can add peanuts, almonds, or
Mm.
cashews, or any other foods. So you can add some nuts. You can add a tablespoon of seeds. So uh, that will provide you healthy fats. So you have fats, you have fiber, and micros from fruits and vegetables. Now it's time to add some carbs. So carbs will also come from fruits and vegetables, but again, you can add some
Yeah.
oats or some
Yeah, oats
amaranth
can be
or
added.
any
Yeah.
other any other roasted flour will also do. So you can add some carbs here, complex carbs. You can add some fat, and then you can also add some protein. If you have protein powders, you can add protein powder. If you do not have, nuts and seeds will also suffice. Then add water or milk according to your requirements. I generally do not prefer adding milk in vegetable smoothies. Water does
Yeah.
its work.
Water
So
will
water
serve the
works
purpose.
very well
Yeah.
with banana. You won't believe
Is
that
it?
that smoothie does not have milk. Yes. Try out. There's a recipe on my page.
Yeah, I'll
So,
certainly do because I generally prefer bananas with milk. So water is something that is I've never heard of. But yeah, because you are saying, then I can completely rely on it. So I'll definitely try and let you know.
so that is how you can make your own smoothie. You can also eliminate all the complex carbs, and you can add in more vegetables like carrots or whatever vegetables you have in hand. You can add cucumber, you can add carrot, you can add loki,
Yeah.
you can add beet and make a very nice smoothie. Add one fruit like apples. Apples do great, and this will make your smoothie sweet. This is how you can make some nice smoothies without losing on the fiber. Because when you drink a juice, you actually tend to have a lot more sugar than the fruit has to offer. So when you are eating oranges, you would probably eat one or two. But when you drink a glass of orange juice, that would probably provide you with 4 to 5 oranges. So a lot more sugar and direct sugar in your bloodstream. That is why juices are not very healthy.
Okay. That
But
is something
again, if
new.
we are talking about
Yeah.
smoothies, then it's better to make your smoothies at home. Because there was a time some years back, I used to buy smoothies from Kevinters and I used to love them. But sooner or later, I
Yeah.
realized that adding a lot of unhealthy ingredients, a lot of
Thanks to
cream, a lot of
lockdown.
ice cream. No, not
That
thanks to
has,
lockdown.
opened new doors for the culinary, the what can gourmet inside us, the connoisseur inside us. Everybody has developed new hobby of, cooking and different
There
things.
are
But
chefs
yeah,
in every home now.
yeah,
So yeah, so you can add, so they add a lot of sugar. So sugar is something you can do away with. And I can't assure you you would love your smoothie in the first sip, but slowly. I think it would hardly take 2 days to get accustomed to the smoothie without sugar
yeah,
because the fruits are themselves very sweet and you don't need to add sugar. You can instead add dates.
yeah. Dates do help also in gaining weight also, right?
That is again a myth. So if you eat in a calorie surplus, you would gain weight. Dates, bananas, rice, as the popular belief goes, do not increase weight.
Okay, with rice, I have something in my mind. Brown rice
Mhm.
and white rice. Just tell me the difference between the two and which is more nutritious and healthy.
Again, health is very individual. As I said, what might be healthy for me might not be healthy for you. But
Yeah, that's
this is
right.
a very popular myth. Many people ask me, why, when I post my lunch plates on my stories, I get a lot of messages every single day. Why are
And
you
they are
eating
so
white rice?
drool worthy. Let me tell you, before you
Thank you.
continue, they are so drool worthy that then when I look at my plate, I'm like, what am I eating? They are, I mean, they are healthy for sure because if you are cooking them and you are following a diet chart, I know that they are healthy, but they look so, beautiful in those pictures. And so they are definitely so drool worthy. I mean, every time I see them, I'm like, just, I just want to have a life like this.
But again, yeah. So I get a lot of messages every day. Whenever people see white rice on my plate, they ask me, aren't white rice fattening? Aren't white rice fattening? Why don't you eat brown rice? I do eat brown rice sometimes, but again, I do not like them. It's just that I have a stock. I need to finish it up. So I'm cooking brown rice sometimes. But again, yeah,
Happened with me also. Yeah.
white rice, brown rice is no way healthier than white rice. A lot of people
Is it
believe
so?
and they eat brown rice. Yeah, because why do people believe that brown rice is healthier than white rice? Because of 1% fiber, that 1 extra % of fiber. Add some vegetables to your plate and eat white rice. You'll get loads of fiber. So it's equivalent. Actually, there's some brand of brown rice.
Anyhow, you
That is
won't
why
eat
people brown.
rice alone. You will definitely mix it with dal or sabzi or something
Exactly.
like that.
Exactly. So you are getting your fiber, and you obviously your body doesn't identify whether your fiber is coming from. The body doesn't identify whether your fiber is coming from rice or your vegetables, right?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
then I won't choose one option which one is healthier because whatever suits you, have it. White rice is more digestible than brown rice. It's better on the stomach.
So we have discussed about like carbs and proteins and fibers and everything. Could you also enlighten us with gluten-free diet? I mean, what is gluten-containing diet and gluten-free diet? Like,
Okay,
what's
okay.
the whole myths
Many
behind?
people,
Yeah.
we have a lot of products on shelf these days that say gluten free. I was shocked when I saw a peanut butter saying it's gluten free. Come on, gluten is found in wheat, barley, and rye only. So obviously this is gluten free.
Peanuts will be
We see a
definitely
lot of
gluten-free. Yeah.
yeah, we see a lot of products that mention gluten free just to attract the customer. So it's again a
Marketing
marketing gimmick.
strategy. Yeah.
Yes. And many people ask whether we should go gluten free, whether gluten free is for us. They, for no reason, remove chapatis from their diet. Why? Why do you have to do this? So, gluten free is healthy for you only if you are suffering from celiac disease. That is gluten intolerance. When your stomach cannot really digest gluten, go for gluten free diets. But if you are healthy enough, if your stomach can digest gluten, why do you want to go gluten free? You have grown up eating wheat chapatis throughout your life, and now all of a sudden you want to go and eat jowar chapatis. Why? Why do you want to do that?
I think we should
So that is the
also
problem.
stick to the, yeah, I think we should also stick to the food grains that are, naturally available or are seasonal or are confined to a particular state. There is a reason why
Absolutely.
rice is found in North India or it's the staple food of entire India. There is a reason. So I think we should stick to our roots also.
Yeah. I really want to ask those people who think rice is fattening, why isn't everyone who lives in West Bengal fat? Why isn't everyone who lives in South India fat? Rice is their
But
staple. They eat rice
yeah,
twice a
it's
day.
staple.
So this is out of question.
Okay, Palak, so we have a lot of questions popped up. Let me see.
Mhm.
Okay. So Mr. Mohit Malik wants to know a myth. Soya leads to spike in estrogen. True.
Yes, true. But again, understand what quantity of soya you need to consume before it can spike your estrogen. So, first of all, the estrogen present in soya is phytoestrogen. It's not your estrogen, it's phytoestrogen. Okay? And you need to consume at least 2.4 kgs of soya in one day to lead to that spike.
Oh,
Unless you eat
okay.
2.4 kgs of soya in one day, it
Yeah, yeah,
won't
yeah.
lead to. So I have a highlight in my Instagram, on my Instagram page, known as Myths. Please go and read that. It will be clear for you.
Okay, perfect. So we have Ayush Madan who is asking, how can I put on my weight even after having lot of protein-rich diet? Should I take mass gain or something like that, or natural food is enough?
See, I really cannot tell you how to gain weight unless I know a bit of your background. I need to know your age, weight, height, your metabolism, your physical activity levels. I need to know how many calories you're consuming in a day right now to be able to tell you what is it that is stopping you from gaining weight. Is it genetic
Yeah.
or is it because of some physical conditions? I need to know everything about you before suggesting you what to do. So generally, I would say first try to calculate your BMR or what is your total daily energy requirement. Once you do that, calculate how many calories you are eating right now and see how many do you need more. You have to eat in a calorie surplus to gain weight.
I think it answers the questions. And okay, so Palak, there is one more. I won't call it a myth, but generally whenever we see any food blogger or the people who make videos or mukbangs, so we get, we our mouth is all full of water, and we start drooling over, and then we start making all those recipes. And in India especially, I've seen in Indians that olive oil in general, if you talk about the Italian cuisine or you talk about the European cuisine in general, so they have a lot of intake of this olive oil. So they generally, I mean, everybody knows that they generally saute that the fruit, not the fruit but the vegetables in that olive oil, or maybe sometimes in fruits also, like in salads or in dressings, they generally pour in the olive oil and just take in it raw. So I have seen Indians following this trend, but what they do is they fry their vegetables in olive oil. So, do you think that will make any, any fruit vegetable that has been fried in olive oil healthier? Like, what's your take on that?
I would say poison. It's poisonous. So, see, you should understand. First of all, there are 3 to 4 types of olive oils available in our markets. First
Yeah.
is extra virgin olive oil. That is the real olive oil. It's not acidic. It has 0.8% acidity, and it's squeezed out of real olives uh, under no heat. I think only 75 Fahrenheit of heat is provided to
Yeah.
extract the oil from real olives. So this is extra virgin olive oil, the purest form of olive oil. Then we have virgin olive oil. That has, I think, 1.5 to 2% of acidity. And again, this is also pure, but a little uh, lesser than extra virgin olive oil. So this olive oil, extra virgin or virgin olive oil, should not be used for frying
Okay.
purposes or frying purposes because so its heating point is so Indians require a larger amount of heat to cook or fry. So it's not suitable to be cooked at that point. Okay. Then we have
Okay.
refined olive oil. Most of the Indians unknowingly use that olive oil. It is marketed
Okay.
as pure olive oil or real olive oil.
Okay.
So this olive oil is basically the leftover. So whatever olives are left, we call it pomace olive oil. The leftover pulp from which the oil has been extracted, the extra
Extracted. Yeah. The
virgin
leftover.
olive oil. So the pulp that remains is used to compress it and extract more oil from it, and this is known as pomace olive oil, refined olive oil. So this is for those people who want to eat olive oil, but olive oil won't suit their pockets. So they would go and buy pomace olive oil. They do not know the difference. They would think this is olive oil. It mentions olive oil. And this
Yeah.
olive
So they will
oil,
buy whatever they see in the first go.
yeah,
Yeah.
whatever suits their pockets. But this olive oil is no different than normal refined oil because this is again a refined oil.
Okay.
So this uses a lot of chemicals and it's
Mm.
treated under heat with a lot of different biomolecules to remove the smells or different flavors to give it a better flavor. So this is a refined oil, and most of the people use this in their daily cooking. So extra virgin olive oil is suitable only for salads or raw consumption. That is the purest form
Okay.
of olive oil. And this one can be used for sauteing. And even virgin olive oil can be used for sauteing vegetables
Sorting
under
process.
lower temperature or maybe for baking. You can sprinkle it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Fair enough. So, Mr. Mohit Malik has another question, and he's asking, are millets healthier than our conventional grains? Oh,
So millets
nice
offer
question.
a different set of minerals, and your conventional grains offer a different set of minerals, and both of them are healthy. You cannot compare the two. Millets are sure powerhouses.
Yeah, generally because I have seen this is also has become a new trend in the market that people are just running after millets. They have forgotten their conventional grains like wheat or rice and everything, and then they are just running after millets. So I think, as you said earlier, also that a healthy and a balanced diet is something which has to be followed. Rather than running after everything, I think you should take in a bit of everything. I think that will solve the purpose, and you can be healthy
So
also.
basically, if I talk about Indian food habits, if you
Yeah.
can do a healthy plate method that involves you eating at least you filling at least 1/4 of your plate with complex carbs. That could be any whole grain or millets. That could be whole wheat or whole rice or any other uh, grain you want. It can be oats or it can be any other grain. Fill 1/4 of your plate
Palak,
with some grain. Fill
can you hear
three.
me now?
Am I audible?
We lost you for a while. Yeah, now it's fine. Yeah, continue.
Okay. So if you can get your plate by the healthy plate method, that would be the best for you. Like fill at least 1/4 of your plate with any whole grain. This could be wheat, this could be rice, this could be oats, this could be any other grain, whatever part of India you're living in. If you are in Maharashtra, you might be eating jowar. If you are
Yeah.
in Rajasthan, you might be eating bajra. So whatever grain grows in your area, fill that up in your plate. 1/4 of your plate should be a complex carb that might come from any whole grain. Or you can also include millets. Then at least half of your plate should be full of vegetables. You cannot eat cold, you cannot eat raw. You can cook them. Cook them mindfully. Do not overcook them. Like I've seen a lot of people overcooking the vegetables. That kills out
Yeah.
all the nutrients. All the vitamins are lost. Then the rest, 1/4, should be full of any source of protein. If you are a non-vegetarian, add some grilled fish, chicken, or if you are a vegetarian, add some paneer, add some dal, add some legumes. So that makes a healthy plate. You need not look here and there. Just go and grab your plate.
Yeah. So I think that also goes with the fruits, because I've seen people like following trends wherein you import blueberries, or you buy imported blueberries. I think you should also stick, rather than wasting money on these expensive vegetables and fruits. I think you should also focus on what is seasonal and what is there, what is regional, what is in your region. For example, Maharashtra is famous for Alfonso mangoes, for example, just say. So why do you have to eat Alfonso mangoes living in Dehradun? I think you can simply go with the mangoes that are available in your area, right?
Why do you want to
Like
go
if
with the
I'm
mango? Lychees are in season. They grow in Dehradun. Why
lychees,
can't you
yeah,
just eat lychees?
yeah, obviously.
Go to
Well, I
seasonal,
don't like
grows in
lychees,
yeah.
but yeah, for people who do eat, yeah, lychees is a very good option. Yeah.
So whatever
Okay, we
grows in
have.
your area, whatever is in season, go for that
Oh God,
fruit.
Mr. Mohit Malik has so many questions. I would really suggest Mr. Malik to, once this session is over, you can directly contact her. I will, her email address. I will give you her email address and her. I have also tagged her Instagram page also, so you can go there and you can clear as many doubts as you want to clear. Because I think we are falling short of time. We just have, 40-45 minutes session, but so it won't be possible to answer every question. So just give me a quick moment. I'll just quickly refresh who all are waiting for their questions to be answered. Okay, so one more question is there. Is peanut oil good if one is lower on their budget and can't afford extra virgin olive oil? Okay, peanut oil.
Why do you even want to afford extra virgin olive oil? First of all, you should be clear what purpose are you looking for. Like, do you want to buy oil for cooking, or do you want to buy oil for salads? Once I know what are you looking for, then only can I tell you which one is healthier. So, if you talk about
Dhiru, the
Indian
name
cooking,
is, yeah.
sorry.
Dhiru, if you are there, you can just clear that what is the reason of buying extra virgin olive oil. If you are, buying it for tossing the vegetable or sauteing them, or using it for the salads.
Yeah. So if we talk about Indian cooking, I think ghee or mustard oil or coconut oil, these are the
Coconut
best
oil,
oil
yeah.
cooking because they have a higher heating point and they can be used for any sort of frying, cooking.
Okay, Palak, sorry to interrupt you in between. Dhiru is saying that he wants to buy it for general cooking.
Yeah, it's good. If you can get some cold compressed natural peanut oil, that would be the best.
Okay, I think that answers the question. Yeah. So, okay, so one more thing that I need to ask. I consume eggs every day, like on everyday basis. So a lot of friends of mine say that it affects your cholesterol. I mean, the egg, they raise their cholesterol. They generally raise your cholesterol. So how true is that? I mean, should I be concerned?
No, they should be concerned. So, okay, your body has a mechanism to produce cholesterol. When you consume a lot of saturated fats or a lot
Yeah,
of trans fats, I hope you know we have saturated and unsaturated fats.
unsaturated fat.
Okay,
Yeah,
so when you consume a lot of saturated or trans fats, your liver processes them into cholesterol. That is how cholesterol is raised in your body, not by
Okay.
dietary cholesterol. So the dietary cholesterol that you eat cannot raise the cholesterol in your body. One egg, a normal sized egg, has only 1.5 grams of saturated fat. Okay, so
Okay.
we are
I don't think
eating more
it's pretty
saturated.
normal. Yeah.
It's very
It's a pretty
less.
normal amount.
So
Yeah.
yeah, so I think you should be more concerned about what you're having with eggs. So this is a Western myth. This myth arises in somewhere in US. So people there consumed eggs with a lot of bacon, ham, and a lot of butter, sausages. So these things, a lot of saturated fat, these things increase the cholesterol in body because this saturated fat was converted to cholesterol in the liver. So this is a
Okay.
thing to be concerned about. If you're having 1 or 2 eggs per day, this won't increase your cholesterol. This is a myth.
Okay. Palak, I think we have discussed like everything. So I would request you, if it's fine, you can take a glass of water if you want to take.
Thank you. I'm good.
You're
I've had
good?
3 liters of water already.
Great, great, great. So just give me a moment. Okay, so I have some more questions with you if you are not running out of time. I'll just quickly wrap it
Yeah,
up in another 5 minutes, right?
sure.
So as soon as I made the flyer and I made it public that I and Palak are there, we will be sharing, this time with you guys, and you can ask questions and discuss everything. My phone
Mhm.
was flooded with messages from people that I know, my friends and family. So do you mind if I can, in general, ask you the questions and you can
Yeah,
answer?
yeah, no, no,
Yeah.
no issues.
Just give me a moment. Okay, so yeah, there is this question by Akhil. So he wants to know that cutting back on carbs is healthy or not.
I would like to know some background. Why do you wish to cut on carbs? It's certainly not healthy because to maintain a good health, you need all the macros and micros. You need ample of carbs, fats, and protein. You cannot simply cut down on carbs because they are your cheap energy sources. You would be drained out of
Yeah.
energy. So it's certainly not healthy.
Okay, there's one more question from Mitali. She's asking, you cannot be overweight and healthy, can you? Oh, interesting question.
Yeah, it's an interesting question. So, if you are overweight, but you do not have any blood sugar issues, you do not have any cholesterol issues, you do not have any blood pressure issues, you're certainly healthy. You're free of diseases. You can be overweight and you can be healthy. Similarly, you can be skinny and you can be unhealthy.
Yeah, correct, correct. One more question is by Shivani. She is asking that is going vegetarian a healthy option?
Again, this is very individual. What are your goals? What are your requirements? We cannot generalize what is healthy. So, veg- like research states that yeah, vegetarians are less prone to obesity or cardiovascular diseases or diabetes because saturated fat isn't as much in their diets as non-vegetarians consume. But again, if you limit your non-veg intake to once or twice a week in controlled portions, it's healthy too.
Okay. So, Palak, it's already 7, and I'll just quickly wrap it up. And before wrapping up, the audience, I would like to know if you have any more queries for Palak. She's there for another 2, 3 minutes, and then we can wrap it up. So, just let me see if there are any questions left.
If you have any questions, you can also DM me anytime. I will
Yeah.
try to reply to you all.
So, guys, when I shared the flyer, you can see that I have also tagged Palak through her official page, which is Eat Clean, Stay Lean. So you can contact Palak, you can DM her, and she will reply as soon as she gets free and she's available. And also, if you want to be her client, you can contact her, you can DM her, and you can know all the details there, because I don't think this will be the right time to, discuss those things. So you can personally go and contact Palak, and I think she will be there to help you anytime. Right, Palak?
Certainly.
Certainly, yeah. So you can DM her, and I think she offers the best recipe advices. She offers the best, diet chart that you can go for, and you can do wonders in your health regime. You can be healthy if you want to gain weight. You can contact her if you want to, if you don't eat healthy, if you want to change your routine. So you can contact her for that also, right? So okay, so anytime, Palak. So there is one more question from Sumit Kumar. Body fat. Okay, I'm not able to comprehend. Body fat जब अटक जाता है क्या कर सकते हैं? I mean, I'm not able to comprehend. I'm sorry.
Clear.
Body fat जब आता
कहाँ अटक
जाता
जाता
है.
है?
Is it अटक और आता जाता? I'm not able to comprehend because there is some typo.
Yeah,
Anyways, Palak.
I think the question is very clear.
Anyways, Palak, it was so good to have you. I think my myths have definitely been cleared, and I hope that
I
my
am.
audience was also. Yeah, and I hope that my audience really enjoyed this session, because it was really enriching. I mean, debunking of myths has been done. We have discussed everything about healthy diet, how to lose weight, how to eat healthy, how to be in regime. So, your golden words before leaving the stage.
I had a good time too. Many of the myths were very funny, but yet it was nice debunking them. I really want to reach as many people as possible, because these myths are really, I would say, attacking the society.
Stressing. Sometimes they stress me out,
Not exactly stressing, but aren't good for the society, because people are still living in the myths. They're living in the past. They're still believing whatever they hear, because people are so desperate to be healthy. Not exactly healthy. They're so desperate to believe that they believe whatever they hear, whatever they get on the WhatsApp University, whatever they hear on YouTube, whatever they hear random fitness influencers tell them. They just believe it. They just soak it up without using logic, without asking questions. I think people need to ask more questions, use more logic before applying these principles in their real life. The more they stick to the fundamental, the healthier they will remain. So yeah, this is all I would like to say, and thank you so much for inviting me. I had fun, and I really congratulate you on the new endeavor. All the best. It's a very noble thing you are going into. I wish you all the success.
Means a lot. Means a lot.
So
just before you go, thank you. Just before you go, there are some appreciation messages also. Ankita Lal ma'am says, great session, guys. Keep going. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Shreya says, amazing session. And one of my cousin is there who says that couldn't join, but good going, brother. Thank you. Okay, so there is one more message for you, Palak. Mr. Chinoy Bajaj says, east or west, Palak is the best. I think that sums up the entire conversation. The entire one, I think this justifies everything, right? East or west, Palak is the best.
Okay. Okay, I think...
Okay, so you have, I think there is one more person. I think it's your client only. I took Palak's plan and it worked wonders. Great. Chandani is the name.
Yeah. So I think we are done. Time's up.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much for joining in, guys. Thank you so much. Palak, you can leave. And it was great time with you. And thank you so much for appearing in just such short notice of time. So thank you for your kind words, your guidance and everything. It worked. Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye. Thanks.
Bye-bye. Take care. Thank you so much for joining in, guys. It was a great session. I hope you really enjoyed it. And I'll be back with one more interesting person the next time. So keep following, keep sharing, and keep supporting me. It's a new platform